Morning. Welcome to Educational Community Alliance's presentation on the first-time home buyer, how to buy without the why. We are going to turn everything over to Nick from MMS Mortgage, and he will be doing the presentation. If there's any questions, feel free to put those in the chat, and we'll address those at the end of the seminar. Nick, we'll turn it over to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Jen. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to 2026 first-time homebuyers presentation. Like Jen said, it's how to buy without the why. It's one of the little fun facts about Michigan or MMS. We've been serving credit unions since 1987, so we kind of put a big emphasis on the members like yourself. Um, Also, we've been working with Educational Community Alliance for about 9 years, so very familiar with the marketplace there. And congratulations for attending today. It's the first step to home ownership. So MMS Mortgage is located in Michigan, so we're a short drive away. My name is Nick Santee. I'm a senior loan officer. I've been with MMS about 6 years. So there are five good reasons. There's many, but here are the big five for purchasing versus renting. You're investing your money, you're building equity, the freedom of living. You can make additions or changes to the home as you like. There's a fixed monthly mortgage, so you don't have to worry about when rents go up. You're locked in with your fixed mortgage. And of course, there's tax benefits, so you can write off property taxes and insurance costs. Here's a little comparison that we put together, why you should purchase versus renting. So in the Toledo area, an average apartment is about $882 a month. A condo is about $950 a month, and renting a home is about $1,100 a month. If you look at the numbers down below, we're using a $150,000 purchase as an example, 20% down, your monthly payment would be $1,128.32. So you're right there, right? So it makes a lot of sense to purchase versus renting. Why buy now? Well, we feel you deserve it. Educational Community Alliance and MMS have never, it's never been easier, and you can rest assured that you'll receive a gold standard in lending. Unlike big banks, where you're just a number, Educational Community Alliance first-time homebuyers program rates are priced much lower to allow the member to feel confident that they will receive the best deal anywhere in the marketplace. How much money is needed to purchase a home? Well, it depends. The previous slide gave you an example of 20% down. For a first-time home buyer, you can put as little as 3% down. So it's quite an advantage. Do I need a job to buy a quality home? Well, having a job, steady employment is always helpful, but we help a lot of retired people as well. So you don't absolutely necessarily need a job to purchase a home. Do all homes qualify as a mortgage? Yes. The answer to that would be yes. So credits and assets are what we look at when you're looking at pre-qualifying for a home loan. What your credit tells the lender is that we're looking at three agencies, and it tells you that you're responsible with your money, you're paying your bills on time. But you probably don't have bankruptcies or any judgments. For the most part, I'd say 99.9% of the people that we work with do not have any of those last two items. So assets, what are assets? Well, assets are funds that are in your checking account, your savings account, retirement accounts like 401k or IRA funds, or gift funds from a family member, all acceptable. Employment and housing, capacity to pay the mortgage. So this is something called ability to repay. What we look at is if you have a full-time employment for at least 2 years, that's a qualifying. Your work hours do not fluctuate. They could fluctuate. So if they fluctuate, we do is need a longer period of time to look at in terms of your income. Self-employment, yes, you can be self-employed. we would use tax returns, 2 years of tax returns to show your income with that. If you're a college graduate, a 4-year degree is the equivalent to 2 years of work history. Not everyone knows that. It's pretty useful. With a 2-year degree, it's equivalent of 1 year of work history. Collateral. So when we talk about collateral, we're talking about housing eligibility. So we're looking at single family homes, condos, new construction, and manufactured home. Manufactured homes would be homes that are on a permanent foundation, permanently affixed, and the wheels and axles would be gone. Your credit union experience, uh, your credit union with the experience of MMS can assist you with your picking out a loan program that best suits you and fits you. So um, there are conventional loans, which most people actually qualify for or apply for. There's FHA loans. So for people with not so good credit or lower credit scores, FHA loan would be their go-to. There's VA loans. So if you're a veteran, you have something called a DD 214. You can go ahead and qualify most likely for a VA loan. There's USDA loans, often referred to as rural development loans, and there's renovation loans, all of which can be had through MMS. Lending options, conventional versus other types. So when we're talking about going with a conventional loan, you have to have a minimum credit score of 620. You have to have 2 years of work history. Again, if you're a recent college graduate, 4-year degree, you can use that as your work history. You can finance up to 97%. Again, this is with 3% down. There is mortgage insurance if you put less than 20% down, but the opportunity to get in, if you don't have the 20%, I would say take advantage of that. First-time homebuyer qualifications required income-driven, have not owned a home in the past 3 years. So as a first-time homebuyer, it doesn't necessarily mean you've never owned a home. It just means you haven't owned a home in the last 3 years. Seller concessions. So when you're going with an FHA loan, you can get a seller concession up to 6%. So if you have a realtor, an agent that you're working with, and you're applying for, or you're pre-qualified for an FHA loan, your realtor could request up to 6% concession. Your minimum credit score is 550. It's actually 580. So that's a little bit higher. Your credit score would need to be 580. Again, 2-year work history, just like with all the other loan programs. The minimum down payment with an FHA is 96.5. So it's a 0.5% higher than the conventional side, 97% versus 96.5%. Mortgage insurance, when you go with an FHA loan, stay on for the life of the loan. But what most people do is they refinance after a few years into a conventional loan and they get rid of the MI with the equity that's earned in the home. For your VA loan qualifications, again, you have to be a veteran in possession of a DD 214, work history 2 years. Again, you can substitute with college units or college diplomas. You can finance with a VA loan up to 100%, so no down payment. There is some small costs associated with it, but you can finance up to 100%. There is no mortgage insurance, unlike the conventional or FHA programs. There are no mortgage insurance requirements when you go with a VA loan, and you can take up to a 4% seller concession, when you purchase the home. The USDA loan, like I said earlier, it's often referred to as a rural development loan. Minimum credit score is 600. Same requirements, work requirements across all loan types. There's a minimum 2-year work history. Again, you can substitute with your college degree. You can finance up to 100%, just like with the VA loan. There is mortgage insurance, but it's lower. They offer lower mortgage insurance. So it's income driven. Not everybody could qualify for this. You have to work, be able to work within the guidelines in terms of what the whatever that guideline says in terms of the income and it's the property's location. You can't get a rural development loan in the middle of the city. It has to be out in a rural area. Renovation loans, they're available through both conventional and FHA loan programs used for minor home remodels or extensive home remodels. So what this is you can't do the renovations yourself. You have to hire a licensed contractor. And the way that loan works is you would get a loan and then do the renovations, and then the home would be appraised after all the renovations are done, and the loan would be funded based on that higher appraisal. Low down payment options. So as little as 3% on the conventional side. Again, that's more of a first time home buyer situation. 3.5% for FHA. Renovation loans can be used for purchase or refinance. Did you know that Education and Community Alliance's first time homebuyer program is far superior to its competition? And we're not just saying that. We encourage you to actually shop it. You'll be surprised. The the aggressive way that the credit union is taking a position of they want to help the community. They want to help everybody get into a home, and especially first time home buyers. So thank you for your time. And again, congratulations for coming this evening. It was short. We know you're busy. You probably just got home from work, want to relax, have dinner with the family. But at this point, we do want to take questions for those that have them.
Nick, one question that I had, could you explain what seller concessions are? What does that mean?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So a seller concession is like if you're buying, say, a $100,000 home, and if you're your concession is 6%, that would be $6,000 that the seller would be contributing towards your closing costs. If your closing costs are $12,000 and they're conceding 6%, that would be $6,000 that would go towards that $12,000 in closing costs. The same would hold true with the 3%, $100,000 home, that same example, the concession would be $3,000. So if your closing costs were $12,000, it would be reduced to nine.
It's a
Good
huge
question.
savings.
Yeah, huge savings. Good question. Thank you.
And one other question, how long does it normally take to get pre-approved?
Typically, it is little as 1 day. It all depends on whether the person is providing all of the information, and if they don't initially provide it all, and we request it, and if they can get that information to us same day, then that pre-approval can be issued as little as 1 day.
Wonderful. I'm not seeing any other questions at this time. So, like Nick said, we'll go ahead and keep this short. We know your time's valuable. So we just wanted to make sure that our members and prospective members also have the ability to see what we can do to help you with the mortgage lending process.
Yeah, one more thing, if I may, Jennifer. So my
Yes.
information is at the bottom of the page. Also, the credit union has my contact information. If you'd like to reach out to me for a one-on-one kind of educational, more in-depth educational consultation, I'd be more than happy to offer that to each and every one of you.
Wonderful. Well, we thank everyone for attending and have a wonderful evening.